Hi, everyone. Today we have Daniel Cape, Senior Digital Strategist and founder of DC Digital Strategy. And we have Tim Mortazov, CEO and founder of SmartMatchApp. Welcome to our YouTube video. So let's get started. Dan, tell us about yourself, about your business, what you do, what are your specialty and what's your passions, how you make the world a better place.
Whoa.
So,
That's
DC
a lot of
Digital,
questions.
that is a lot of questions. Like that, all of that all in one. Wow. So at DC Digital Strategy, we offer a full line of digital offerings, which include website design development, digital marketing, as well as CRM development. We focus a lot more on the CRM component, which in this time, a lot of businesses need because of what's going on with the working from home and people not being able to go to the office as much. They need to be able to access all of their information and everything that they would normally be able to access at the office from their home. And by implementing a CRM solution, either an out of the box or a custom built one, we give them that capability.
This is truly amazing. You make the big difference. I know for sure. We have a lot of clients, so we've been working with Daniel for many years, and we definitely stand by credible, respectable young man.
I appreciate that.
And Daniel, of course, we know each other for a while. I mean, and hi, welcome to our podcast, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. It's been our plan for a while, and finally it's happening. I love to have you here on our podcast. When we met with you first time, we were talking a lot about technologies and about challenges that your customers are having. And actually, one of the main reasons today is to introduce you to our customers, to our viewers and subscribers, so that they can learn something interesting, maybe an example of a solution that you provide to a customer, a case study, something that is interesting, something that maybe was challenging and you found a way to solve it. For example, like one of our clients that we work together for SmartMatchApp. Any examples? Let's maybe give our clients and our viewers a little bit of specific case or example.
That'd be great.
More recently, we signed on a new client that was looking for, in a nutshell, they wanted to completely digitize their sales process, which in essence is building and implementing a CRM solution, because you're able to customize that process through that. The difference, one of the big things that they were looking for was, while their sales agents were on the phone, they wanted the ability to fill out, enter all the information they need to into the CRM, but also click a few buttons that will allow them to then automatically kick out an email that has all of the sales sheets based on what the prospective client was actually looking for, as well as a breakdown of a quote based on the options that they selected. So they wanted everything predefined and fully set up for them, so that they didn't actually have to do very much other than speak to the prospective client, follow up, and the follow-ups were automated as well. So unless they were actually calling them, if they're just doing email follow-ups, completely automated. What we ended up doing was finding them the right CRM solution and building a custom add-on for them so that the capabilities they were looking for became possible. We're currently in development for it, so it hasn't launched as of yet, but we're looking for it to go live within the next 3 to 6 weeks.
Good luck.
It actually speaks to me quite a bit, because in working with our clients at SmartMatchApp, we have quite a lot of requests for automation.
Yeah.
Automation seems to be one of these fashionable words and fashionable terms nowadays. Yeah. Automating.
Well, especially with a CRM solution, when you're dealing with that, yes, you need it so that you can access all of your customer information from a single platform. But at the same time, if you don't have the automation, then you're still, the amount of work you still have to do, you're not saving any time. You still have to go through and manually input everything. You have to manually send out emails. You have to manually follow up. You have to manually set everything when you're
All
able to
about working
implement.
smart. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the whole point, right? Like that's what owners want. Owners want the ability to save time so that they can then spend their time building out their business and expanding their business, or whatever they decide they want to do with their time because they now have it.
Well, that's definitely sounds very attractive, to be honest. But tell me a little more about how do you see a relationship between automation and human touch, or feeling that you're actually interacting with. And I don't mean to set you up. If you are,
Yeah,
you know,
all
we're
good.
very open in those sense. It is something that we didn't prepare a script. But the question to me in my mind, when I talk to my customers, as you know, is when is too much automation is too much? When is it? Where is the line between human interaction, human touch, and the robotic, whatever the processes that you set up, triggers, actions to replace a
So
human?
within the sales process, you're always going to need that human touch. The automation is what takes you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. In order to actually complete step 1 and step 2 and step 3, you need to have that human touch, especially when it comes to sales, because no owner or no decision maker is going to make a decision based off of talking to a robot. They want to speak to someone. They want to speak to a person. Have a call like this, where you get everyone on video, and you can talk about it, and you can show them this is how it's going to work, and this is what you're going to be able to do. And then they'll be able to see, okay, the automation is going to take me from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, or based on what's selected in step 2, it'll either take me to step 3 or it'll take me to step 5 because of the options that are selected.
So your experience is similar to ours, where you think there is a combination, a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, for sure.
A
For sure.
golden
I
balance.
believe there has to be. If there
It has to be.
There has to be. You don't. If a business owner wants a robot to do all of the work, they're not. I don't believe that they're going to be very happy with the overall results. They're going to be happy with the quick results they're going to get, but the long-term results that they're looking for that actually allow them to expand their business, they're not going to see a positive response.
And do you have ever to kind of argue or sort of persuade your customers to not to go too much on automation, or is it usually quite an organic process?
So with the way that DC Digital Strategy conducts the business, especially with a new client, we will speak to them, have a sit down, find out exactly what they're looking for. And usually we deal with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. So they'll have a long laundry list of items that they would like, anywhere for the CRM or for a website or for digital marketing or bringing it all together. Specifically for the CRM, they'll come up with this huge list of everything that they need. We'll then go back and we'll come up with a strategy and figure out the best way to implement all of it. The first part of the strategy, there's no automation.
That's similar to how we work.
The first part is pretty much taking what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and fully digitizing it. And then once you understand and get used to how they run their business on a daily basis, the automation can then be built in.
Right. Totally agree. And Arthur, you won't let me lie or invent anything on this call. We talk to clients, and we do have the reason for this question is that it comes from real life. In many cases, our customers or potential customers are looking for that magic button that they will hopefully press.
Magic, all the work for them.
And everything
which doesn't exist.
Doesn't
until you build out their solution. That magic button doesn't exist. because you need to build it out so that then they have that magic button. But
and
it
also
takes
with the
time to actually
development,
get to it.
totally. It start with a workflow and a business process first, I suppose, right? And then go into the automating step by step or entire process potentially. And also with the invent of artificial intelligence, I think every year it's just picking up the pace,
Of course.
that things are progressing so fast. So God knows where we're going to be in 10 years from now. Are we even going to be talking like this, or our avatars are going to be talking on our
No, in
behalf?
10 years, we'll be back using, like, in the Stone Age, we'll be writing on stones and like using birds to send notes, and
You mean a complete like reset back to the
complete
future?
reset.
It's called technology fatigue. Yeah.
Exactly. The technology is going to get exhausted. It does so much already that in 10 years, it's going to be like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah.
But in actuality, like when you look at artificial intelligence and you look at automation and you look at the way that they come together to build all of these new exciting platforms and programs for businesses to be able to use, it's really incredible. It's amazing how you can take a system out of the box, and a lot of businesses are able to use it. They've built their business in a way without even knowing it to use an out of the box solution.
And I totally agree. I think today technology is less of a hassle or less of a challenge than, let's say 5 years ago. The business processes, the vision, the strategy is becoming, it's something that's becoming more and more, to me at least, the more valuable, more people finding the time to sit down and to figure out who they're targeting, who they're talking to, what problems they're solving, what business processes needs to be there to solve it. The technology is less of a hassle because it's there. It's either this platform or another platform, but there are so many different platforms. And more than that, there are other platforms that help platforms to talk to each other, like Zapier. So there is no lack of technology, but I do believe there's lack of time. There's lack
For
of
sure. And the whole point of CRM, and when they're built properly, and we deal with a lot more than just CRM solutions. We deal with the finance side of it, the HR side of business, the overall process that a business goes through, and bring all of that together. And if you can bring it together properly and you can do it right for a business, they will then have the time to be able to perfect everything that they're doing so that they can then expand their business
to share a little, like it. I guess also it depends on the business, Daniel, right?
For sure. Oh yeah, every business is different.
You
every
work with matchmaking.
Every solution we build is custom built for that business and what they need and what they're doing. Because if like going back to the out of the box example, if you're going and you're going to sell a box solution for every single company or business that you're going to work with, you're going to have a lot of customization that's required. If you start from the beginning saying, okay, these are your business processes, this is what you do on a day-to-day basis, and you build a custom strategy for them, which will then allow you to take that strategy and implement it into one of the hundreds of thousands of CRM solutions out there, the one that meets their needs the best, and then customize it so that it fully meets their current and future needs. Because building something for current needs means that within 5 years, it's going to need to be completely modified in order to meet their then
or less than 5 years,
or even less. Exactly. In a year, it could be.
Things are going so fast nowadays that
exactly, and businesses change at the drop of a hat. A business changes. With everything that went on in the world, every single business needed to adapt, and the ones that you could see, the ones that didn't adapt, because those ones are no longer in business.
And that's just from the let's say not when you're doing business and you're not expecting any surprises, just the normal business process
Exactly.
flow,
Just the normal
even
day to
then, then you
day.
have to adapt, you have to adjust. But imagine unforeseeable situation, then you have to almost revamp the whole business, like with the COVID situation, for example. Like how many people had to completely revamp their business or pivot from one business model to another. And also depends on the industry you're in. Like I just want to kind of conclude this part of our conversation, I guess, in terms of like applying all these processes and technologies. It also depends, I think, um, on the industry you're in. Like in our case, we could automate our entire thing, but we don't want to. Like Arthur, our amazing business manager, he speaks to every single customer personally, and he replies to every incoming email personally. There is no automation there whatsoever.
So
We talk
you
to
give that personal touch, which is
from the
which is
get-go.
what your customers love and your clients love. They love that personal touch, which is
And
why
it also speaks to them because we're in a matchmaking industry, right? So
well,
they
not just in the matchmaking industry, in all industries. When you're in sales, like the only way to close a sale is by having that personal touch.
I do get when I subscribe to some of those services, SaaS services, I do get a lot of automated follow-ups that I don't like.
It's
And
so
they keep
cold.
Hey,
Yeah.
you get put into a funnel where on day 3 you're going to get this email. If you open it and you click, then on day 4, 5, and 6 you're going to get these 3 emails.
That's
if you
what I'm
don't
referring
open it, they're going to send you a follow-up on day 7.
That's what I'm referring to, and
Yeah.
you can immediately sense those.
Oh, you know them right away.
You know them right
Right
away,
away.
right? Yeah. So we
Well,
don't
they
It's
do
the
cold.
that.
only custom part of it is your name, your business name, and maybe like so your contact information, if you're lucky. Other than that, everything is preset in a message that gets automatically sent out based on where you are in the funnel.
And that's what I meant to tell or to say or ask you about. When is too much automation? So, but we will leave this topic because it's a question of, it's
It's a balance.
Equilibrium, a
it's
balance.
a give and take.
It's a balance. If you can't balance it, then it'll never work.
It's one of those questions you have to ask yourself. What is your business? What is your vision? Who is your customer? What is your goal? What's your strategy? And then from there, say, do I need?
And what's your sales side? What's your sales process?
Right.
Because if your sales process is, okay, I only need to speak to them one time, and then they can get a couple automated emails that to remind them to follow through on completing the purchase or completing the sign up, then that's fine. But if you're a business that requires more hand-holding, then the automation component of it is necessary, but not as necessary, and not as it won't happen as often in the calendar.
It could be too much of automation could be a counterproductive, in other words.
Well, and also the automation that would end up happening is on the other side. It's not on the client side. It's on the internal side where someone gets into the sales funnel and you get reminded on day 3 that you need to reach out to them.
Yeah, make sure that nobody falls
as an example
through the cracks, and you do keep in touch with maybe at least the most important prospects or important.
Exactly. And it just
definitely matters.
Be on top of
that. Building a relationship is always a beneficial and a great thing for any business.
And there's so many ways to do it. Abundance of technologies, and this is a nice topic. Maybe we can cover in one of our follow-up podcasts, because this is fascinating actually, to what extent and when, to how to use it. Maybe we can build specific use cases as we go. In terms of just to process with our interview, I know that you work with SmartMatchApp clients. That's how we met, through a client who came to SmartMatchApp, and you were instrumental in helping your client and us adapting our SmartMatchApp system to your client. So maybe we can ask you more about that. Not maybe specifically. I know maybe it's private, and
Well, we'll leave the names out.
Yeah, but maybe you can tell us a little more about the actual experience with SmartMatchApp. What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it? But don't say too much.
I'll leave that stuff out.
It's like,
So
tell us what you didn't like, but don't.
no problem. So
Just
to
joking.
go back to the beginning, I had a client that was looking to get out of their legacy system that was custom built for them. The problem was it was custom built 15 years ago, maybe longer, maybe closer to 20 years ago. And it was great for them, but it was missing a lot. It also wasn't a cloud-based system, which meant that in order for them to actually access it, they needed to be on a computer that it was installed on. There are other ways to access it, but we're not talking about, they're not the most computer savvy. So we didn't want to use anything like TeamViewer, any of those types of programs.
I love that comment. If I may just inject.
Go ahead.
Quite a few of our clients, we love our clients dearly. Quite a few of them are people. They are not usually by themselves technology companies. So it's interesting comment. It's kind of common actually. So a role of a specialist, digital strategist, digital specialist like yourself, I think it's important. Maybe as a takeaway from this video, from this podcast, is to my advice would be to reach out to specialists, to talk to.
Of course, no matter who it is, like, you want people that you want someone that has a lot of experience, obviously, but you want someone that understands your business, your core business, and will take the time to learn about your business before recommending a strategy, and we'll develop a custom strategy for you, which is something that we take a lot of pride in. We make sure that we understand our clients and prospective clients before proposing anything.
And I have to say that this experience working with you and your amazing client was amazing.
Thank you.
A wonderful experience. You know, it just makes everything smoother, faster,
For sure,
better.
And that's what as a consultant, that's what I'm there for. But going back to this client, so they had a long list of fields and a long list of data and images, and none of it spoke to each other because of the way the system was built. So we did one export of the fields and we did another export of the images, had to bring in specific developers in order to be able to pull the database because of how old it was. It didn't actually have an export function. So we had to bring someone in to actually write a program to be able to do it. Finally, we got everything that we needed, built out all of the custom fields within SmartMatchApp. Very easy to do, very intuitive. It was a great process it was amazing going through all of that. Thank you
for sharing that. The
Music to our ears.
Arthur,
we're good now, right?
We're good now. That's it. Thank you very much for coming.
No problem. So then we went through the upload process, and we ran into a little bit of a hiccup where we had to figure out how we were going to match the images to the individual profiles. Working with your team, we developed a process to allow us to do that, and it ended up being seamless. It was uploaded. We ended up having to upload all the images to a Dropbox. They were taken, dropped into a program, and everything was connected properly.
And I have to confirm this. This is a headache for a lot of our clients.
For sure it is. Because these legacy systems aren't built for these clients to take their data and move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
They build them in a way that they get their teeth into you and they've got you forever.
And I think that was the trend in the last decade or
sure.
Today, the trend that we find is that make it easy, make it friendly for people to bring in data, connect with other systems, inter-system, Zapier, whatever. So there is that fluidity now, transparency. I think that's the trend of today.
It definitely is. It's definitely come a long way. I think there's still a long ways to go before we actually get to where we need to be. But because like a lot of systems are built with custom code,
Right.
they're built in languages that unless you're part of the development team building the platform, you may not necessarily know the language because they are using them so that no one can get in and take and download the information.
And even if you want to let them do that, still, like we experience this, sometimes people want to export, but it just freezes, you know. And
exactly. Or it only exports, let's say you have 20 fields, it will only export 15 of them because the other 5 are system created fields that can't be exported. I've run into that before.
It's just technology. That's
exactly it. It's just technology.
We're not trying to slow our customers down. It just happens. It just export can freeze in the middle of export. What can you do?
There's nothing you can do. Like, so once we figured out the images, the rest of it was seamless. Like we've had multiple calls over the last year discussing potential platform updates where my client has come to me saying, how about if it's able to do this? But like they think of it as like this small little thing. And then before we actually get on the phone, I will expand it so that how can it actually work within your platform?
Yeah.
And
so you were able so far
a lot of different things so that you're able to offer more and more and more to your current client list and prospective client list, which is great.
Thank you.
So what do you think of our... let me just interrogate Daniel a little bit more about SmartMatchApp.
No problem.
How intuitive did you find the application? Let's say not everyone is as smart as consultants. And how would you say an average, let's say a student, a bachelor graduate, what would they see in the system? Would it be easy to navigate, to learn, utilize the tools? What do you think?
I feel that if you give them access and you let them play around for a little bit, it can all be figured out. It's fairly straightforward.
And what about your favorite features then? What you think, what are your most, you think, important and easy to use features that have customization portion and provide the most valuable points within the system?
A little disclaimer, because and it's true, actually. A little disclaimer. I'm working hard for Daniel here. Probably matchmaking wise, because you don't do matchmaking every day, it's probably going to be challenging to cover that area, right? But maybe from your perspective, it's a wonderful question.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the geo-targeting add-on that you guys more recently did was an incredible addition.
Proximity match.
Yeah, the proximity matching and allowing people to add that to their must-haves so that if someone is outside of their area by a certain amount of kilometers or miles, they won't show up in their match list. The ability...
I remember that one.
Yeah, that one was fun. That was a fun one to build. I really like how the page is set up for you to be able to add in new fields and how easy it is to add in the field. Whether it be a text field or a drop down or a radio button or whatever it is, it just makes it very easy. And then taking those fields and adding them to your match criteria and the ability to be able to make sure, okay, you want to match criteria for gender, you want to match criteria based on area code or postal code, which is what we actually did with the client that I was working with before the proximity geo-targeting was available. And Tim and I came up with this amazing idea before the geo-targeting was available that we're going to do it based off of area code. And because, as you know, area codes are specific to certain areas.
Yeah, and we did like a drop down. I remember
we did this crazy drop down that then you were able to select the different area codes that you wanted.
It's a workaround. It works
as the workaround. And if you needed to, you're also able to upload it as a mass upload, so you didn't have to go through each individual person within the platform,
Right.
which is great, because I deal with a lot of other CRMs where if you export and then try and re-import with new information, there could be problems if it's not done properly.
Import and export is sensitive.
Very. It's one of the hardest things.
And this is
Yeah.
a great point that you mentioned, Daniel, because sometimes clients come to us and we have 95% of everything they're looking for, but those 5% are missing sometimes, time to time. And we listen, we collect that feedback. We have a really long, wrapped around equator 3 times squared development
Only 3?
sheet, and we develop.
Only 3 so far. We're going on a 4th.
Don't worry. I can
Next
change
round.
that for you.
So we're working hard on making those new features happen. We develop approximately 2 features each month. Currently, we negotiating with a video conferencing company, and more features like video calls will be possible, like PayPal integration, like network, and not only for dating industry, but for financial institutions and for logistics industry as well. And it's just
Which is
worth
amazing.
mentioning. We're making
Which is
making
amazing,
it
because it
happen.
also allows you to expand outside of the dating industry.
I think
As big as the industry is,
yeah.
there's only so many clients in it. And if you're able to add more to your platform, you could expand out of it while still servicing that in the same industry, right?
What's interesting about this, Daniel, is that I think the dating industry almost like inspiring the other industries to apply the concept of matchmaking. I guess that's the way to say it, because they come to us from financial funding industry. They're matching investors and entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
They Google us, somehow magically we come up, and they, okay, well, I wanted like a dating thing, but for investors. Can you do that? So there is always that. It's like a dating, but for this case or that case. So the dating is the universe that everybody is familiar with.
Of course.
Everybody knows that, and they're just curious if we are there yet or not there yet. And we're trying to. We can't cover all the cases in the world, but more and more we're covering cases where people are trying to match a variety of use cases from.
Which is great. Because what I tell a lot of my clients is, if you're not exchanging with the times, if you're not expanding, if you're not thinking past that line that you're at, you're going to get left behind.
Absolutely.
Because your competition is not just thinking past that line, they are thinking a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years past that line. What are they going to be doing in 5 years? How are they going to be servicing their current clients, and how are they going to be bringing in new clients, so that they're able to now service multiple industries or service multiple types of customers or multiple types of clients?
Also, we live in the age of connectivity and communities. Like communities are everywhere. So being a part of a community or a group or association or alliance is crucial today. And that's pretty much concept of matchmaking, that you're introducing people to each other based on certain needs on a personal level. It's exciting. It's exciting to see all of this development, and it's very exciting to have you here, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let me stick my 2 cents in, because our free Zoom won't allow us to stick for over 40 minutes. Time flies. What a joyful conversation. So, Daniel, our YouTube viewers watching, tell them how to reach you. If they ever need a consultation or professional services, what's the best way to get in touch?
So to make sure that we offer the services that you're looking for, you can check out our website. It's dcdigitalstrategy.com, or you can send me an email directly at Daniel, DANIEL .cap, CAPPE at dcdigitalstrategy.com. I always have my phone with me, or I'm in front of my computer. You can ask Tim. He's emailed me at ungodly times during the night, and usually I'll
What?
respond pretty quickly. So send me an email. We can set up a call, or you can go to my website and you can actually book a time to speak to me directly. Book a 15-minute or a 30-minute call, and we can figure out how we can help your business move forward.
Thank you for sharing this. And I would absolutely recommend our clients and viewers to get in touch with Daniel. I was witnessing myself how he helped one of our clients, and it's wonderful. It makes the job easier, less friction, much faster. So I highly recommend Daniel. And I think we have just a few seconds. I want to thank you guys for being here. Wonderful meeting. Wonderful meeting.
Big
I
hug.
learned.
Group
Big
hug.
hug, big team hug, high five. Thank you.
Thank you
Tim.
very much for having me,
Thank you,
guys. I
Daniel.
appreciate it. And I look forward to our next round of podcasts.
Let's do it. Much
Thank you
fun.
for watching, and bye-bye for now.
Ciao.